Good evening, and thank you for coming. I'd like you all rise before we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call up Celia C. Gomes to sing our national anthem. Celia.
Please all join in singing. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'd like to ask Rosemary Moniz to come up and do the invocation, please.
First, Priscilla, congratulations. I said a prayer for you today, and know God must have heard. I felt the answer in my heart, although he spoke not a word. I didn't ask for wealth or fame, I know you wouldn't mind. I asked him to send treasures of a far more lasting kind. I asked that he'd be near you at the start of each new day, to grant you health and blessings and friends to share your way. I asked for happiness for you in all things great and small, but it was for his loving care I prayed the most of all. Please, God, bless this food that we are about to have for partake with our family and friends. Amen.
Thank you. Take your seats. Welcome, everyone, to the Veterans Transition House 21st Southeastern Massachusetts Veteran of the Year. My name is Jim Reed, and I appreciate everybody coming here tonight. We have a lot of friends and a lot of new friends that are here tonight. And, I appreciate everybody coming out to welcome and honor Priscilla Fonseca as the 21st Annual Veteran of the Year. We appreciate it very much. Thanks. I'm just going to take a few minutes. Tonight's venue. Tonight I'm going to get up and talk a few minutes just about the house and what we've been doing for the past year and the board. And also I'll be introducing our host tonight that'll be hosting the rest of the evening. Again, I'm Jim Reed, and I am the director of the Southeastern Massachusetts Veterans Housing Program, better known as the VTH, or Veterans Transition House. I'd like to first take a moment and to welcome everybody here and to thank our donors. I would also like to look, when you get a chance, look at your pamphlet on the last page for all the supporters throughout the year of 2016. Just a few here: Grimshaw, Gitowitz, Iron Order, Silent Few, who've just in the past have come over $20,000. Those guys in the back there, over $20,000 raising for the Veterans Transition. We all appreciate that very much. And if you look at that, that whole list right there, everybody's, it's growing every year, and we look, everybody here that's a friend of the VTH, we really appreciate your support and continue to look for more friends. I'd also like to recognize for our third year in a row our diamond level sponsors, Lockheed Martin, right here to the left. Thank you. Tom Jarbo is here leading it, and Andrea Amaral Rodriguez is from Bank 5. She's the VP of Marketing at Bank 5. Thank you. This year, as in prior years, we've proudly served over 100 veterans providing transitional housing and supportive services. As many of you are aware, HUD and VA are advocating a housing-first approach. While VTH continues to strongly advocate transitional housing, we have converted 9 of our previously transitional units to permanent supportive housing. We understand the importance of this. We've provided that supportive housing with below-market rates for our vets. The veterans living in these apartments have access to meals, counseling, case management, and transportation, none of which have dedicated government funding at this time. That's why your continued support is very crucial at this time. The SSVF grant, which is the Supportive Services for Veterans and Their Families, is led by Sheila. Sheila, raise your hand out there. Thank you very much. Very successful grant that's in its third year, and we are in partnership with New England Center for Homeless Vets. Andy McCauley leads that effort up there in Boston on Court Street. We're in partnership with them, and that grant has helped now just this past year, stabilize 71 vets. Now, if you add the families, because it is for families, that's 108 people that we've helped out through that program. Now, that program is not the housing program that you would see that somebody would come into the VTH and stay at one of our houses. This is a program where people come, where they find out they may be in dire straits, they can't pay their mortgage or rent, or they're at the verge of homelessness, and that's where this SSVF grant steps in. And that's where it's been a very successful grant, and it continues to be, and we're very glad that we have it and that we're in partnership with Court Street. Sheila's team, they have, again, consistently provided outstanding service to veterans in Bristol County. Again, this is a grant that we use in Bristol County, not just in the local area. So it goes all the way up to the outer boroughs, Easton, and all the way back down. So it's very good. To accomplish all this, the VTH partners with many local agencies doing the same work as a few of us, again, New England Center for Homeless in Boston, City of New Bedford, the Office of Housing and Community Development we work very closely with, the Homeless Service Providers Network, which we are a member agency and have been for longer than I've been there. I've been there 10 years now, so the agency's been there. South Coast Regional Network to End Homelessness, headed up by Janet Riccardi and many others. To end Catholic Social Services, Stepping Stones, PACA, O'Connor Sisson House in Dartmouth recently. And most recently, VTH, we provided a peer support specialist for the intensive treatment unit of the New Bedford Drug Court for Veterans. That's a grant that was given through the Bristol County DA's office or through SAMHSA, and that's through the Bristol County DA's office. So providing a very valuable service to the community and helping people get off drugs or alcohol, whatever it may be. And instead of putting people in jail, giving them a chance to kind of right the ship, so to speak, and get back on the straight and narrow. And so very important work, and we're glad to partner with other agencies, and we look forward to doing more work with other folks. Last year I've been talking about a project, our permanent housing, supportive housing. We are very much looking to do supportive housing, and the project that we've been working on, continues at our main address, and this year we have a new development partner, Women's Development Corporation out of Rhode Island. We're continuing this long process in the goal of providing permanent supportive housing while maintaining much-needed transitional housing program as well. So we understand that permanent housing, supportive housing is important. It doesn't work for everyone right away, but it does work. And the other thing is that transitional housing is needed and should not go away, and it is very much a part and parcel of getting people on the straight and narrow and getting them back into societies. We cannot do this work alone. We do have help from our donors, large and small individuals and organizations. There are literally too many names to list, but I do want you to please look at the page, on the last page of our program booklet, and I appreciate you looking at that. And lastly, I would like to introduce our hosts for tonight's event. 2 Marines, Marine Corps birthday today. I know there's going to be a little bit more said to that. Yeah. 2 Marines are hosting this, and they also are on our board of directors. Rose Lopes is the president of our board, and she has been on our board for close to 10 years now, and is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, like I said, where she served for 6 years. Rose is a tremendous positive force for the board, and I'm glad that she continues to serve on the VTH. Her insight and leadership is instrumental to VTH's success. Rose is an account executive at Sylvia Group, where she has more than 14 years of insurance industry experience working with businesses and individuals. Rose, in addition to being VTH board president, is a member of the United Way of Greater New Bedford Citizen Review Team and is a classroom volunteer for Junior Achievement of Southern Mass, and I'm sure there's many other things that Rose does that she didn't put out here for me. Next, Nelson Ostigi, Vice President of our board. Nelson is also approaching 10 years and is also a United States Marine Corps Vietnam veteran. He was a sergeant. Nelson also served for 27 plus years as a Massachusetts State Trooper and retired as a Lieutenant Colonel. Nelson serves many organizations, many I'm sure that are here tonight. Vietnam Veterans Association, he's a life member. The 3rd Recon Association, life member. The VFW Post 45499, Freetown, Mass., life member. Marine Corps League, life member. American Legion, life member. The DAV Junior Vice Commanders, life member. Vet Advisory Council here in City of New Bedford. And Nelson also continues to provide his leadership and experience to the VTH and is a valued member of our board, and we are honored to have him serve with us, and we look forward to many more years. I just want to wrap up my portion of it, and I just want to say I want you to welcome our host tonight. I think Rose is going to get up first, and I also want to just say, Priscilla, congratulations, and we look forward to a great evening, and please enjoy the evening, folks. Thank you.
All right.
Need anything?
Nope, all set.
All right.
Thank you and good evening, all. I'd like to welcome everyone to our 21st Annual Veteran of the Year event. As Jim mentioned, I'm Rose Lopes. I've been on the board for about 10 years, also a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. So I'd also like to wish our Marines a happy birthday. I'm truly honored to be celebrating our Veteran of the Year, Woman Veteran of the Year. We don't have too many of them, so I'm really proud when we get to have someone nominated and we get to choose them to be nominated. And Priscilla, for her work and dedication to veteran services in our community, I'd like to congratulate you, Priscilla. As we start this evening, I'd like to recognize a few individuals in the room. There are some individuals that actually wanted to be here and actually could not be here to be recognized, but I will recognize them anyway. In the room, we have Congressman Keating of the 9th District. Representative Paul Schmidt of the 8th Bristol District did come by earlier today, but he could not stay, but I just wanted to acknowledge him. Representative Antonio Cabral's office did drop off a proclamation for Priscilla earlier today. We have Mayor John Mitchell. Our city councilors unfortunately could not make it tonight. They actually had a scheduled meeting, so they could not be in attendance today. But they will be honoring Priscilla at City Hall in their council chambers on November 17th at 7 p.m., okay? Department of Veteran Services Secretary Arena was unable to attend this evening, but he is represented by Claire Markinokolis and who is the DVS Director of Housing and Outreach, and Evan Markakanolis, DVS Director of Training and Compliance. I'd also like to acknowledge our guest speaker for tonight, former City Mayor, Mr. Scott Lang, Attorney at Law. I'd also like to acknowledge a group of individuals that works with me on the board. They volunteer their time to come to monthly meetings and to volunteer for other things that the VTH are doing on a regular basis. So if I say your name as a member of the board, if you could just stand and be recognized, I'd really appreciate it. Our Vice President of the board, Nelson Osterguy. Our Treasurer, Richard Brown. Our Nicole Bashforth, Attorney at Law. Wayne Carvalho of First Citizens Federal Credit Union. Joe Michaud, Attorney at Law. David Prentice, Attorney at Law. John Ramidis, U.S. veteran of the U.S. Army and President of the VFW Chapter 499. Linda Silvera of Gold Star Realty. And when I was acknowledging everybody, did I say Mayor John Mitchell? Did I say your name?
Yes, you did, Rose. Very well.
I did, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to feel like I left you out. That's Jim's fault, by the way. He came up here and told me I forgot somebody. Stay seated, Jim. I'd also like to thank Jim, our executive director, Jason, our CFO of the organization, and their staff for everything that they do. I've actually worked with the VTH for a number of years. Even before I was on the board, I worked with them in some capacity, whether it be business or volunteering. And there are some individuals that have been with the organization a really long time. They take a lot of personal pride in what they do. They volunteer countless hours, personal time, time after work hours, time during work hours to make sure that our veterans are being taken care of. And I also just want them to stand and be recognized as well. So with the staff of the VTH, if you're here, if you could just stand up and be acknowledged. You know, as Jim mentioned, without them, the hundreds of veterans that we service day in and day out, none of this would be happening if it wasn't for them. So that's what I'm going to do now. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Nelson, who's going to have a few words to say, and then I'm going to be right back with you.
Probably wondering why I'm taking this with me. I was looking around for all the old Veterans of the Year, the complete list, and I went online, I went everywhere to look for it. Never called the VTH and talked to Alice, but this was sitting in the VTH right here, so I have all the past Veterans of the Year. I'm just going to read them off real quickly, and if anybody's here with the names called, please stand up. We have our original 1996 Veteran of the Year, Don Canto. Is Don here? Don's over there. You don't have to get up, Don, but yeah. He's a mainstay. He shows up all the time, that guy. Roland Genren. He's back there. Yeah. Frozen Chosen Roland. John Kelleher. Never met the person, but. Dan LeBlanc. There he is, Marine Corps, Vietnam. I used to play basketball and baseball with him when I was younger. David McLaughlin. Howie Prescott, he's passed away, unfortunately. He was a Korean War veteran. Showed up at all our programs. Always fighting for veterans. Veterans Transition House, of course, got one at 2002. So the whole house got to be Veteran of the Year at that point. Joseph Theodore, one of our original members, and World War II veteran. He's the one who started the raising the flag in New Bedford over the fire tower there. John Ramirez, he's going to be doing the music tonight also. He's a former Army veteran, Vietnam. Norman J. Red Perry, I don't think he's here tonight. He's probably working. Walter Campbell, he passed away. He was a former Navy Riverine Patrol boat person, Navy, I think it was Chief Petty Officer. But he also served in Korea, and he was also the custodian at the State Police Barracks in Middleborough. He did a fantastic job. Worked till the day he died. James Leo, over there, Korean War veteran, Pork Chop Hill. Me, Nelson Ostiggy. Thank you. Kathleen Splinter, is she here? Oh, she couldn't come tonight. She's a Vietnam veteran. She was a nurse, a real trauma nurse, one of those things with the casualties come in and they get them, as they receive them, in body parts or whatever. So she did a heck of a job over there. Joseph Michaud, Lieutenant Colonel in the Army Reserves. John Sprague, he was the president of BCC. Raymond LaRue, back there. When I was a kid, his name was Ben Loeder, French, but somehow somebody bastardized it like they did my name. Jim Collins, he's from, there he is, right there. Dartmouth VFW, Air Force veteran, Korea. Jerry Payette. Jerry's right over there. Peter Paul Jr., right there. Navy captain, Commander. And of course, we have Priscilla Fonseca. I tried to say that very low because I didn't want you to hear, but no, I gave it up. Okay, now, I gave up all these names. We're all set there. Are there any other veterans in the group that we haven't mentioned, such as World War II veterans, other than Don Canto? Few and far between. We have a man right there. It's okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Another one. Reasons why I joined the service. Well, you were a little younger than when I saw you last time. About the Korean War. Korean War, Korean War, Korean War, Korean War, Korean War. Okay, Vietnam. All the Vietnam vets out there. Vietnam vets. Now we've got I know we had some other wars like Panama, Grenada. Anybody fighting Grenada? Probably did, right? Yeah, if you're a veteran, a retiree or something from the Army, you probably went there. Yeah. Thank you. Now we go to the First Iraqi War. So 1990. Right there, sir. Thank you so much. I'm going to have to make these up. OEF, OEM. Oh, just kidding. The actual, serving time in Iraq, that's when we took it in 2001, I guess, when we rolled through Iraq. Help me with the date, I forgot. Anyway. And then we have, of course, Afghanistan. 80 Afghanistan or Iraqi vets after Operation Enduring Freedom. Here we go. All right. Hopefully that's the last of the wars. We'll never have another one. But right now, I would like to introduce Andrea. Andrea Emerald Rodriguez, and of Bank 5, and Tom Jebro from Lockheed Martin to come up for our toast. Help us with a toast. Got the name right?
I got it, you got it. Good French name. Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to just say that on behalf of Lockheed Martin, we are proud to be a sponsor of the Veterans Transition Home and the critical mission that they perform in southeastern New England. So we're proud of that. So on behalf of the 300-plus members of the Lockheed Martin team here in southern Massachusetts, I'd like you to raise a toast with me to thank our active duty members, our veterans, and especially our Veteran of the Year for their dedicated service to our great country. Hear, hear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can't thank these people enough, you know, your great support. Every year they come through, and the money goes to a worthy cause. We're doing some great work over at the place. Now,
Let me know.
I'm going to turn it back over to Rose.
There you
So I'll
go.
take this one. Sure.
Okay, so we're going to go a little bit out of order. Just a little champagne, everybody got excited. We're going to go a little bit out of order right now because we have some individuals that have some time constraints tonight. So right now we're going to do a few quick presentations, and we're going to start off with Congressman Keating, who'd like to say a few words to Priscilla.
First of all, to all of you here on the eve of Veterans Day, to all our veterans and their families, thank you for your service, first and foremost. To any Marines that are here, happy birthday. Representative Schmidt was here, who's a Marine. And just a quick thought. When I was in Helmand Province visiting the troops, one thing that was indelibly put into my mind, among many things, was given the firefights and the schedule and what they were doing there during that period, being exhausted in their work, remarkably, I found a schoolhouse. And it was nothing extraordinary, but it was there with scraps of wood and surplus building materials, concrete, and it wasn't fancy, didn't have desks, just benches that were there. And it was built by our service people that were there. In spite of everything else they were doing in their exhaustion, they took time to really say what this country is all about. To have the young people there, half that country is illiterate, have a chance. And those young kids would put pencils in their pockets and walk around feeling like $1 million. And that's what our country's about. They mobilized in their time, as slim as it was, to do that. Back home, we're here because of a terrific organization that's mobilizing, giving living assistance to those same people that did so much for us in so many different venues around the world and at home. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, board members. This is extraordinary work, too. And we're honoring someone who was a corporal in the Air Force, someone who mobilized, too, went and took her skills teaching at UMass Dartmouth and being a teacher, but also never forgot her commitment to veterans. A person who worked in the American Legion, a person who was in the New Bedford Veterans Council, a person that works with the DAV, a person that has their own TV show, and a person that is an extraordinary example of a female in the military when it was maybe harder than today in many respects, but really breaking through for the extraordinary sacrifice I see when I visit our troops from females around the world serving us well. So Priscilla, I gave you a citation last week. This is the victory tour, I think, at the Council on Aging in Dartmouth, and I'm pleased to be here with your family. And if we can give a hand to Priscilla's children are here, grandchildren, and to Priscilla. And when you go to Fort Tabor and you see the Women's Veterans Memorial there, you can thank Priscilla for her work leading that too. Appreciate it.
Okay. Next, we have Mayor John Mitchell.
All right, thank you, everybody. I know my place, which is, I'm standing between you and dinner, so I wanted to just start with a couple of programming notes. So tomorrow's Veterans Day. The parade steps off at Buntwood Park down Union Street at 11. We can't say that enough. So if any of you go on Facebook tonight, and I know you're out there, tell everybody, evangelize it. We want people there, especially kids. I don't need to tell you the reasons why. If you're here, you know why. The other thing, I want to say something about a person who has been instrumental in upgrading the quality of those parades. There have been many people, Bob Bromley, a number of folks who have really come together in the last few years and have really put on terrific events much to the great pride of city residents and veterans. And that's our Director of Veteran Services, Chris Combs. And I don't think Chris is here tonight. I don't think he could make it. Just so I want to say a word about Chris because Chris does a fantastic job. He was a great free agent pickup of Mayor Lang a few years ago to fill the very big shoes of Dan LeBlanc. And I mean, Dan would be the first one to tell you what a fabulous job Chris has done in supporting the very high number of veterans that we have in New Bedford. And Chris last week was named by the state as the Veterans Agent of the Year for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I know, I just wanted to get that out there. I'll repeat it tomorrow at the parade because I think people need to know what a fabulous job he does. He's not a guy who toots his own horn, but he does a great job. He does it very credibly, and he really goes the extra mile for everybody. So when you get a chance, congratulate Chris, as I know all of you will. One of the things that I've had a few interesting events in the last couple of months, and I think some of you were at these events. Everybody's familiar with the veterans memorials in the North End that have the World War II era tanks. One's a Sherman. I think they're maybe both Shermans. If there are tankers here, you can correct me. But one is at the square, the French-American Memorial over at the intersection of Nauset Street and Hathaway Road, and the other one is up Mount Pleasant. And these are memorials that everybody knows because they've been driving by them for years and years. And they were recently restored thanks to the work of folks in the Department of Public Infrastructure and Chris's team at Veterans Affairs, but also by members of the Massachusetts Brotherhood of Tankers. And I don't know if any of you guys are around tonight, but there's one little thing I wanted to, yes, I'm glad somebody's here. So, these are these ceremonies were very useful means to make a point about the way we treat veterans in our city. So over the course of several months, the Brotherhood, who are just totally passionate about armor, right? So everything has to do with armor. You guys wanted to drive those tanks off when you got done with them, I'm sure. But the hours of work that went into carefully painting every little crevice, every little facet of the tanks, right down to the tracks, right down to the gun, every single thing, and landscaping it and restoring it just so people were on their hands and knees in the hot, very dry summer that we had, and I saw them out there. And these guys aren't getting paid for it. They're working very collaboratively with city government and really took their time to make it just so on both of these monuments. And they look fabulous. And I hope everybody, I know the traffic goes by fast at both of those monuments, but you know, at a calm time of day, stop by and take a good look for yourself. That's what that dedication to detail that they exhibited is the kind of thing is emblematic of the way that we want in our city to be seen as treating veterans, right? Going the extra step, taking care of the details and doing a little bit more than is expected to make it perfect. And the reason why that matters so much is that communicates that it's important. We want people to know in our city that what veterans did matters to us a whole hell of a lot. And because we owe veterans a debt of gratitude, and we want them to know that all the time, not just on Veterans Day, not just in parades, but all the time. And what we do, the little things really count. And we also want our kids to know, the kids who might be fighting in future wars, that what they do, if they're out there at some point, and there are kids from New Bedford out on patrol right now in Afghanistan and are posted in other far-flung parts of the world, we want them to know that what they're doing matters. That's the message that we want to send. And so, you know, the volunteers from the Brotherhood, I can't thank you enough, but it's a larger point about what the VTH does, what all of you are doing here today. Whether you're a board member, whether you're from the very hugely dedicated staff, Jim Reed, all the sponsors, you're all stepping up, and that's what's necessary. That's what you are making it count, and people notice, and that's exactly the message that we all want to send collectively to our veterans and everybody who would be a veteran in the future. So I really want to thank all of you for that. And then lastly, I want to say congratulations to my good friend, Priscilla. Congressman Keenan, if you haven't been on the show, you need to go on the show. It's like, it's, you know, try to get, yeah, he'll go on. You make sure you grill him when he goes on. So Priscilla exemplifies what I just talked about. Someone who has been tireless in her support of veterans and gathering people or others around getting them dedicated to the cause. The show is one thing. The show is a really neat aspect of her dedication, but it's only one thing. The monuments are just one more thing. But it's just the constancy. For over a long period of time, Priscilla has stepped up again and again and again. And that's what we need. That's what we need as a republic to endure. That's what we need to do if we are really, truly to express our gratitude for veterans. People like Priscilla, she richly deserves the recognition tonight. She richly deserves that enormous cake that you guys got her tonight. So I just wanted to say thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, VTH, for a great evening. Congratulations. And I'll leave my proclamation among the pile. Thanks, guys.
We now have Evan and Claire McKinnicolis, who would like to say a few words as well.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'll be brief. I'm just going to read a certificate of appreciation awarded to Priscilla Fonseca in recognition of your achievement as a Southeastern Massachusetts Veteran of the Year. Awarded this day, 10th of November 2016, signed by Secretary of the Department of Veteran Services, Francisco A. Urania. Thank you so much. I'll just leave it right there.
Thank you, and thank you, Priscilla. It's such an honor to be here tonight for your dedication. I would first like to say quickly that I have overseen the Veterans Transition House for about 15 years. And I don't think that it would be to the point where it is right now with its stellar staff. And I would like to ask Dan LeBlanc to stand up. Dan, if you could stand up, because when I started, Dan was doing some excellent work with the veterans of the staff. Jason Strippins, if you can stand up. Russell Lonigan, Sue Nicolin, and Martin Leahu. If you didn't work so dedicated, Martin and Jim, thank you very much, because you've really done a fantastic job, and we really appreciate all the hard work that you've done. And Jim, if you can stand up and come and join me for a moment. Jim, I'd like to present you the Certificate of Appreciation awarded to the Southeastern Mass Veterans Housing Program for your outstanding support of homeless and at-risk veterans, awarded this day, November 10th, 2016. Secretary Francisco Urena. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Folks, we're going to go ahead and take a break now and finally eat. I hear stomachs rumbling up here. So the staff here is going to get us to the buffet line in an orderly fashion so that we don't stampede the buffet table, okay? And we'll be back.
Right now, I just want to introduce our keynote speaker. Scott Lang was the mayor of the city of New Bedford for 6 years, and I had the opportunity and good fortune to be able to work for him as his chief executive aide, and I worked for 5 years for the mayor. And I got to see a little bit of the inside of politics, and I also got to replace him sometimes when he was really busy. The mayor would go all the time. He was mostly always out of the office going to visit people, his constituents, and sometimes I had to represent him at different functions, which I enjoyed doing. And, I made quite a few friends myself this way. One thing about Scott, though, he was very, you look at him and he's always thinking. So one particular episode was, I was in his office, I went to his office and I said, hey, you got a minute later on tonight when you're done? Before we go home? He said, sure. He says, how much do you need? It's about 5 minutes. I said, sure, that's good enough. So come time for all the staff to leave, he goes, you want to talk to me now? I said, sure. We go in his office, and there's Scott. Well, he goes, what do you want to say? So I'm sitting down, I'm starting to talk to him. He gets up from his chair, goes over to the wastebasket, takes that wastebasket, empties into another one. As I'm talking, I keep talking. Then he takes off and he goes in a little room that's adjacent to us. We had old file cabinets in there and some of our servers. So I said, where the heck is he gone? And he comes out so well, and he keeps on the conversation. And I said, I love this guy. He acts just like I do when my wife talks to me. The only thing is, I don't listen to her. But he picks up everything as you're going along, and that's amazing. He's got a really like a steel trap mind. He'll look at something and he'll start talking about it. I said, my God, this guy's awesome. He is also a special, he graduated from Marquette University, that's probably why. And then he also went to the Georgetown University School of Law. He was a special assistant district attorney in Bristol County from 1978 to 1990. He taught labor and employment law at UMass Dartmouth, 1991 to 2005. He's an arbitrator with the Commonwealth Mediation and Conciliation Incorporated, 1999 to 2005, the 37th mayor, city of New Bedford, with 3 terms, January 2nd, 2006 to January 2nd, 2012. He is instrumental when you walk in the city hall. If you look up on the door, the transom, it says Veterans Lobby. He grabbed me one day and he goes, Nelson, come with me. He says, I want to make this into a Veterans Lobby. It's the interior, when you first walk in, the little entryway there. And we did, we put a plaque for one of our deceased Marines, one of our citizens from the city. And we never got around to doing all the other things that he wanted to do, but he had plans for it. We have a couple of other plaques there. But then he expanded the military museum. 2009 on Veterans Day, we had a little get-together at the Low Tide Yacht Club, which is just adjacent to the Military Museum. And we wanted to expand the Military Museum, make it bigger. And all of a sudden, he mentions in his speech that he's going to, 1 year from now, that museum is going to be a lot bigger than what it is now. And that was it. As soon as he's done speaking and the program's going along a little bit, he's not up there. He goes, Nelson, come with me. Dan LeBlanc, come with me. So we go outside with him, and he starts measuring. What do you want? What do you think? How far out? And we just got him a certain. He goes, Nelson, tomorrow morning, call an architect. So I did, and the rest was history. The following year, almost to the day, we had the grand opening of that wing. And he's just a man of his word. And, he wouldn't say no. That's it. He just made the commitment to the veterans. Everything's veterans for him. He'd always tell me, go by, Nelson, Veterans Day is every day, Veterans Day is every day. So now, after he left the mayor's office, he returned to his law practice. He worked closely with all facets of the fishing industry. He was involved in that when he was the mayor. But he was very, very much involved, very vocal and all. He did a lot of talks on it and so forth. He founded the Oceans and Fisheries Council. He put Brian Rothschild, the former president of the CMAST for UMass Dartmouth, as the chairman of that Fisheries Council. He testified at New England Fisheries Management Council meetings and before Congress on fishery management issues. He has received many awards for his service to the community, and as mayor, including the Standard Times 2006 South Coast Man of the Year. He has written numerous articles and op-ed pieces on urban affairs, education, public safety, alternative energy and environment, and also the South Coast Rail. I ran into him about a month ago or so, and they had some meetings, throughout our area for the South Coast Rail, and he attended all those meetings, and he was very vocal at them and all. He had 2 notebooks that were packed. It was like a reporter's notebooks. He had them full of his writing, which I couldn't, decipher, but he knows how to write. Like he probably should have been a doctor. But anyway, he actually took all those notes and he gave them to his secretary. He says, "Here, I want these transcribed." And I said, "You wrote all those notes?" He goes, "Yep." And you know what? He remembers what he wrote. He remembers everything. He had an alternate route for the South Coast Rail, and I believe that somebody's going to listen to him. He had a tete-a-tete with Governor Baker. They get along very well, Democrat, Republican. The guy should be the President of the United States. But maybe next time. I'll tell you though, he's a great guy. I've known him for a long time. I loved working with him. I thought he was going to be mayor again. I could work with him again. But I do see him on occasion. I'm a private investigator, and sometimes I do work for his office, and amongst other offices also. I love going to his office. I feel like I'm going home to a family again. And speaking of family, he does have his family. He has his wife, Margaret Gig Lang. She's recovering now from her hip surgery, but she's doing well. He has Nate. Nate is a budding actor. He acted in one of our a certain show, and not Whiplash. It's something else, but something to do with drumming. I saw the movie. I thought he was pretty darn good, And of course, Andrew's sitting with Mayor Lang right there, and he has a daughter, Sarah. Andrew works for the law. He's also a lawyer. He works for the law department, and I got a lot of other things. I have a couple of other funny stories, but I'm not going to tell them to you. I'll wait till next time. But right now, I would like to introduce you to my friend, a good friend of yours, a good friend of the city, and a good person all the way around, the Honorable Scott W. Lang, former mayor of the city of New Bedford.
I really appreciate that introduction, and now I'm going to make my own bad opinion for all of you. But I can tell you that Nelson, more than anything else, is a dear friend, I think, to all of us, and I really appreciate it. He came and asked me back in, I believe, September, if it would be something that I would consider, which would be to come and speak at the Veteran Transition House Veteran of the Year dinner. And I said that would be my greatest honor. I really appreciate that. I don't know, humble me greatly, and I would really love doing it. I also said at the time, Nelson, that is going to be a couple of days after this election, and it will give me a chance perhaps to reflect a little bit on where we are as a country, where we are going as a people. And he said, that would be great. That would be great. So I wrote a speech, and then on Wednesday morning I wrote a new speech. So, and I'm very happy to be here. I really appreciate it. So let me begin first by welcoming all veterans and family members. Good evening, Veteran of the Year, Priscilla Fonseca, and hello to all distinguished guests who are here this evening. It's a great privilege for me to speak at the Veteran of the Year dinner. I want to thank you all for the sacrifices made in service to our country. Our liberty and freedom has been protected and secured by your selfless acts. Tomorrow marks the 97th year we have paid tribute to veterans who have served the United States of America. As we learned in history back in grammar school or perhaps junior high or high school, on November 11th, 1918 at 11 a.m., the Great War, the war to end all wars, World War I, ended when an Armistice agreement was signed by Germany at 5 a.m. that morning. It went into effect at 11 a.m. 1 year later, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed Armistice Day to recognize the solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory. On May 13th, 1938, Congress, with the support of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, made November 11th a national holiday known as Armistice Day. The tribute was to honor all World War I veterans. However, after World War II and the Korean War, veteran organizations petitioned Congress to change the name to Veterans Day. On June 1, 1954, with the support of President Dwight Eisenhower, Armistice Day became Veterans Day, honoring all veterans in the United States of America. In 1968, under President Lyndon Johnson, a three-day holiday was created for four existing national holidays, Veterans Day being one of the four. The law went into effect in 1971, when Veterans Day was observed on October 25, 1971. But moving the Veterans Day observance from November 11th to a convenient Monday in October for the purpose of a three-day weekend was like telling someone to observe their birthday to a day when it's convenient for the general public rather than their birthday. President Gerald Ford understood this slight, and in the fall of 1975 signed a law to return Veterans Day to its proper observance date of November 11th. This law went into effect in 1978, and since then, November 11th of each year is the day that veterans are honored and celebrated. Tomorrow will mark the 98th anniversary of the end of World War I, and we will celebrate with all of our veterans. Memorial Day has an interesting history as well. Memorial Day honors our men and women who gave their lives while serving for the United States. It was established in 1868 by General John A. Logan. It was a day to honor the Union Army war dead, to be observed on May 30th, 1868. It was first proclaimed to be Declaration Day, as its purpose was to decorate the graves of fallen soldiers. In the South, the Confederate South, Memorial Day began in 1866. In 1967, 99 days after the first Declaration Day proclamation, President Johnson signed a law which changed the name from Declaration Day to Memorial Day. Unfortunately, however, in 1968, Memorial Day also became subject to the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which stipulated that Memorial Day would be observed on a Monday, thereby creating a three-day weekend. Many veterans organizations believe that moving Memorial Day from its May 30th origins to the last Monday in May has devalued the importance of the day. Blending with a weekend has turned Memorial Day into the start of summer and a merchandising holiday. The fact is the simplicity and single purpose of the origin of these 2 days, adopted to honor our veterans, should never have been compromised by the pressures of the marketplace or public convenience. When it comes to honoring veterans, the holiday should not get lost in modern-day clutter. For this reason, I believe Memorial Day should also be returned to its traditional date of May 30th. Hopefully, Congress will restore the original date of remembrance. At this time, I'd like to pay tribute to Priscilla Fonseca, the 21st recipient of the Veteran of the Year Award, also the second woman to receive the award. In her 55 years of advocacy for veteran rights, she has been a champion for every man and woman who has served in the military of the United States. She interjects the veterans' cause and needs of veterans' families into our community's consciousness on a weekly basis through her Veterans Advocacy program on New Bedford's cable TV network. She is tireless. She is persuasive and effective in shining the light on our veterans' concerns, whether it's in health care, housing, employment, or benefits. Priscilla Fonseca has made a tremendous contribution in honoring America's vets. She believes with all her being that veterans are loyal to the American system of government. They follow a system of command. They love their country. They put their lives on hold to serve people of this country. They ask their families to sacrifice. They are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, and they demonstrate on a daily basis heroic bravery. They follow all orders and make the ultimate commitment to complete any mission. Then they come home and resume their lives as great citizens. I want to thank Priscilla for your great work tonight. Now I want to just deviate for 1 second and tell you a personal story about Priscilla, and that was when I was elected mayor. She came to see me and she asked me to be on her television show, and I said I absolutely would be honored and willing to do that. And there was no rehearsal. She said to me, well, come on and we'll talk about veterans and their needs, concerns, and how you can help them. And when I got down to the studio and we sat on a set which is stoic, has all the trappings of a cable TV network type of set. We sat down and I couldn't help but feeling that it was a very special place. I was very lucky to be on the show with her. She made the set. Her enthusiasm, her knowledge about veteran affairs, and her absolute commitment to this subject made the show what it is. The guests are an interesting ornament that hangs on Priscilla's work and her life's commitment. But I remember the first thing that happened when the lights turned on, when the camera lit up red, which meant we were on the air. She introduced herself, she introduced me, and then she said, so tell us what you're going to do for the veterans. And I sat there for a minute and I thought, so this is how Priscilla runs this show. I better start talking quickly. And it was a great show. I think I learned as much from her as she certainly learned from anything that I said that day. And I was extremely, extremely impressed and grateful that she gave me that opportunity to communicate with the veterans and their families of New Bedford. So once again, it's a great choice, Priscilla. Many, many more years of doing your life's work. I know your family's very proud of you, and they should be, and you're very proud of them. Now, I want to say a few other things tonight that I think are important, and I'm going to say them, I hope, for all of you as Americans, loyal Americans, people who have shown your loyalty throughout your lives. We all believe in this country, and we all believe that America is a special, special country that has a very important place in the world, in the free world. The greatest democracy, the greatest republic on earth, and we proved it again 2 days ago. 2 days ago, our country elected its 45th president, Donald J. Trump. 32 of our previous presidents have served in the military. In fact, 3 have served as the highest commander in war times: Eisenhower in World War II, Grant in the Civil War, and Washington in the Revolutionary War. Only 4 presidents have had no connection with the military prior to becoming the commander-in-chief of all our military. Those were Harding, Clinton, Obama, and now President-elect Trump. During the campaign, President-elect Trump professed his unwavering support for the veterans of the United States, and millions of veterans across America voted for the Trump-Pence ticket. Veterans voted for Trump for many individual reasons, but needless to say, his support of veterans' causes was a key factor in their support. As Americans, we rally around our new president. On Wednesday, he asked us all to give him our support, our ideas, and specifically give him our feedback on his attempt to accomplish the goals that he has set out during his campaign. Thus, as we lend the president our support, let us also help him set a veterans agenda. First, and these, I believe, are subject matter for the agenda for the Trump administration and for our country, hopefully, going forward. First, fight no war without a clear objective, sustainable mission, and with a path to victory. Second, follow all the Geneva Convention protocols, but fight to win. Third, send no fighting man or woman into a hostile area without the best military equipment in the world. Fourth, devote the resources to care for the sick and wounded, both on the battlefield and here at home. Fifth, expand the programs to support the families of all military men and women, whether at home or while deployed. Sixth, when a veteran leaves the service, provide that man or woman with educational opportunities, career training, employment opportunities, federal and state housing opportunities, small business consulting, and readily available financing. Seventh, provide full medical care and pension and disability benefits. All of these benefits must be easily accessible and of the highest quality and value. Eighth, provide psychological counseling on a regular basis with full emergency counseling services available to the veterans and their families. Never leave a veteran's health or psychological issues to wait. If we would not spare any effort on the battlefield to care for our wounded, don't spare any efforts at home. We must help and protect our veterans who are suffering from PTSD, and we can never forget our obligation to them. Ninth, review, improve, and expand all veteran services. I am sure all of you can and will add additional needs and programs to share with the new administration. I urge you to do so. Your input will be vitally needed and will be greatly appreciated by the President-elect. Lastly, let me say a few things to the President-elect on your behalf. Some things that only a civilian can say to another civilian without overreaching. First, Mr. President-elect, any POW, any MIA, any KIA is an eternal American hero. Never cast any disparagement on these individuals, the courage, bravery, and commitment of these men and women at any time. Always and only provide solace and honor to them, their country, and their families. Second, Mr. President-elect, the generals know more about military matters than a civilian. In fact, the privates know more than a civilian. Give the greatest military in the history of the world the respect it has earned. Listen, don't talk, then give your opinion. Third, never tell the U.S. military to ignore or defy the Constitution of the United States. Never tell them to violate a law or international treaty or protocol regarding the treatment of prisoners of war or the treatment of their families. The United States military honors the Geneva Convention. It does not violate the Geneva Convention. Fourth, NATO is a deterrent force that has helped keep the peace in Europe since April of 1949. It has 28 nation members who are our allies. We don't charge our allies money to come to their aid. We will defend them, as it is a moral right and in our national best interest to do so. Wavering on our commitment to NATO will encourage our enemies to test our resolve. Let the world know that the United States will back its allies. Fifth, the United States is at war with radical Islamic states and terrorists, and has been since the bombing of a Marine barracks in Beirut in 1983, and in fact, well before that. Remember, however, that we are also involved in a new Cold War, cyber wars, and proxy hot wars with Russia for the past decade, and right at this moment. Putin is not our friend or ally. We're the only country that has the strength and valor to confront Russian aggression. Don't let our country's guard down regarding Russia, and do not compromise the U.S.'s reputation as the beacon for the free world. As president, let every enemy know not to tread on the United States of America or its allies. Our country is a republic with multiple systems of checks and balances designed to ensure and protect the will of the people. It is a government by and for the people with civilian control over the most advanced and powerful military in the world. Each member of the military takes an oath to preserve and protect the Constitution of the United States and to follow orders from the chain of command. The President is the Commander-in-Chief, a sacred position under our Constitution. For this reason, our presidents conduct themselves in a manner that makes our servicemen and women and their families confident and proud every day. Do this for the veterans of the United States. Do it for all American people. I have no doubt that the Trump administration will value the men and women of our military, their families, and our veterans. Let's all resolve to help President-elect Trump reach the loftiest goals, protect our men and women in the armed service, and honor our veterans. In closing, I want to recognize that Veterans Day Eve is always the United States Marine Corps' birthday. Founded in 1775, the Marine Corps is 241 years old today. The Marines are a very special group of patriots, and we salute them. Finally, as we enter the following season, I ask you to please say prayers for the young men and women who wear the colors of the United States. There are many who are very far from home, fighting to allow us to live our lives under a free flag. God bless them and bring them home safe. Thank you again, all of you, for making us proud. And God bless the United States, its people, and its veterans. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say a few words, and then I'll have somebody else come up here. Priscilla Fonseca graduated from New Bedford High School in 1949. And when she was at the school, she was a member of the junior ROTC program. Something I always wanted to be, but I went to a school that had no ROTC. I went to a school that had nothing. She entered the Air Force, United States Air Force, in June of 1949. She was a supply corporal serving in Denver, Colorado, and Langley, Virginia. She was honorably discharged after 2 years and returned to New Bedford with her husband, Frank, to whom she was married for 28 years. Unfortunately, he passed away right around the damaging of the Twin Towers. She has 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. She's very educated. You know, people probably didn't know that about her, but she received her Bachelor of Arts in June of 1982 from Southeastern Mass University at the time, which is now UMass. She had a dual major, History and Humanities and Social Sciences. She received a Master of Arts degree in June 1994 from Southeastern Mass University, major in bilingual and bicultural education. Then she received another Master of Arts in Education at Bridgewater State College. Her major was counseling. Then she also went back, I don't know why, BCC in 2003, for some reason. Probably said, well, I missed something. Oh, she got another job. She taught school for a number of years locally, and she also taught for a year, I believe, right in Milan, Italy. Portuguese.
Fifth grade.
5th grade in Milan, Italy.
And the young people of today should realize They have 5 subjects. They take 5 books home every night.
Oh.
One weekend, they were going to go up to the Alps to ski on a vacation. And I was teaching. I said to them, you've got the week off. You don't need any homework.
She-
The little boy comes to me and says,
We're having a moment.
"You angry?" I'm very angry if I don't have homework. Our children better realize.
That's very interesting. Yeah, most of the people didn't hear what she was telling me about, but kids bring home 5 books and have 5 classes a day or whatever, and homework for 5,
They speak 5 languages.
and they speak 5 languages. But they learned the word capiche from her. Then she got involved active in veterans groups. She served over 32 years with the American Legion Post 459. She became the District 9 commander and also a chaplain. District is bigger than the post. It's more of a regional thing, but involving a lot of posts. Over 33 years, she's been with over 3 years with the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV, Chapter 7, of which I'm the junior vice commander. She's formerly an adjutant for the New Bedford Veterans Council, very active member in the development of the Women's Veteran Memorial. It took a group of women that met very often to get that thing off the ground. And if you go to Fort Tabor, as was mentioned before, it's a very nice memorial. We don't have the kind of, the statue with, they're holding up a flag or something like that, but that the Marine Corps took that. So we have our flag, basically, you can't copy it. She's on cable television. I don't know if any of you folks saw her show. I was fortunate enough to be invited to be a guest on that show. And, when I first got on there, I said, my God, I don't know what this is going to be. The only time I ever saw anything television-wise was Breakfast at Tiffany's or something on TV. But anyway, she's been hosting this Veterans Advocate program for over 18 years, and she makes you feel very comfortable. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to ask questions. She knows how to goad things out of you that you don't think you're going to say. And but all pertaining to, well, myself, veterans organizations. Her shows deal with educational opportunities and medical services available to returning Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. She's probably already run the gamut of the Vietnam veterans and Korean War veterans. Providing the ongoing services that she does, she is an unselfish role model to other veterans and civilians alike. I could go on, but I just want to make sure that I present her properly. She's a woman that I admire. I've admired for a long time. She's admired by many of us in this room who know her. Her posts also, members of her post are here, and she's just a peach. I want to present Priscilla Fonseca to us.
Thank you, Counselor. My daughter says, cut it short, take a couple paragraphs out. I said, no. Thank you, all of you wonderful people, to give me this special tribute for my life's work. The testimonial I wish to share with all of you here. Why? Because you gave and do all you can to serve our veterans as I have tried to do. Those of us involved with service to our veterans and those coming home from their duties, we must be true to with our feelings, for their pride is our volunteer work. It is gratifying to know we have served and found that many veterans that need that helping hand to begin their lives in happiness. When we as a community work together for those who continue to protect our freedoms and lives, they deserve all the services and benefits available to them. Massachusetts and New Bedford give every assistance to our city veterans and their families. Our community of families, organizations, and many others in our area work together and try to reach out in many ways to help our vets with the satisfaction of success in their needs. I thank all of you here and in our area for your help, and I still have many years to continue, as you will, to give service and assistance where it is needed. I would like to acknowledge a special veteran. Billy Dolan, will you please stand? Billy Dolan has been an American Legion veteran for 70 years in the American Legion. His main program was chairman for POW MIAs, and at every meeting he had something to tell us about them. He investigated everything he could find, and he has the Massachusetts Veterans Day every year in Fall River. Thank you, Billy. To those who put this testimonial together, the VTA directors, their staff, the photographers, supporters, and all of those of you here, from my family and I, we say thank you for this evening. I'll see you on my veteran program, my TV program on Channel 18 in New Bedford. Thanks again.
So as we conclude, Priscilla, you have some proclamations here that have been provided before the meeting and some that were left here for you, as well as your plaque. And we'd like to ask, as we do every year, it's sort of a tradition, to have all of our past Veterans of the Year, if you're still here, to come up and take a group picture. I want to thank every single one of you for coming out, for helping to celebrate Priscilla today, the Marine Corps birthday, and of course, all of our veterans. Thank you.